Web 2.0 usually refers to free online services delivered through a web browser. For example, social networks in which users blog and share photos.
Think small, but just do it today or tomorrow, and that is Web 2 in a nutshell.
Web 2.0 is an evolving thing. It hasn't reached its goal at all of Tim Berners-Lee, which is eventually to get to agent-type technologies where they actually work on your behalf to go out to that massive information to bring back relevancy to you.
Why marketing is important is simply because more and more people are spending more and more time interacting with each other through the web.
I think the real challenge that Web 2.0 gives all marketers is it's no longer about you.
With RSS, it's really simple. I like you, I subscribe to you. I dislike you, I unsubscribe. As a marketing manager, people who work for me, I will metric them on the number of subscribers they've got. It's really simple.
It seems to me that there's a couple of key concepts we've heard here. One is the idea of control, and the other is this idea of community. And I think that what I'm beginning to feel with our audience is that we would do better to give them control and to allow their community to build and to actually become self-managing.
I think your comment is absolutely spot on. I don't think this is about Web 2.0 as opposed to 2.0 or whatever else people call it. It's about, consumers 2.0. The fact that we're all much more enlightened and savvy about what we want. I hear people talking about, who owns the customer. I just think that's a slightly odd concept,
I'm just curious to the panel's view of traditional media and their role in Web 2.0.
There's a lot of really intransigent thinking in some of these organisations, and it's really frustrating.
Web 2.0 is a mindset. It's an attitude rather than being any particular technology application.
It's really difficult and time-consuming, and it's expensive, and getting to know your customer is much easier to say than actually do. And you've got to really want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, go and join your PR teams.
My kids are avid users of the internet, but I don't remember them ever asking me to purchase anything from the internet. So what kind of, and I presume that they will grow up to purchase, but is that, how long is that off?
It's not that they're not buying things that you and I would expect them to buy, which is CDs from Amazon or books or other things. But I think the generation which is of our own in this room probably has shifted our spending.
If you look at things like the YouTubes and social networking sites, what you have to realise about that is while they're not your clients today, they are your clients' kids. And they are, in fact, your clients' hobbies. And so they are training themselves to have higher expectations of you, and those expectations you ignore at your peril.
In a time when we're actively asking people to broadcast themselves and also share lots of information about themselves with media such as Bebo, MySpace, other sort of areas, that actually there's going to be both a social and maybe potentially a regulatory response by encouraging people to further secure their privacy online.
That is a very good question, I think.
Earlier, Josie was talking about building up trusts, with customers and the way that you interact and engage with as a brand with your potential customers or people who want to use you. And I think that the instances that we've seen recently that you referred to about the music industry actually undermine a lot of that trust. So I think in that sense there will be a huge, huge backlash.
Just the other day there was a guy going for a job interview. He's left university, and the first thing I do when someone comes to our organisation is I'll Google them. Okay, if Google are doing their job properly, they'll find most of what's relevant for that individual. Lo and behold, this guy didn't get the job because there were photos of him in rather compromising positions posted on MySpace from 2 weeks earlier.
I'd like each of the panellists to nominate one site, not their own site, which they feel exemplifies the spirit of Web 2.0.
There's a company called Pronto that makes a plug-in to your browser, so Firefox people and so on can buy it, and it just sits there most of the time. And whenever you go onto a site that's selling product, it perks up, it slides up a little window saying, hey, you're looking at, I don't know, a Hitachi HX375. It says, do you realise you can get this for between 150 and 200 pounds? Shall I show you? And so you click on that away from the company that's just paid a lot of money to James to bring you to their site, And you can then see they have scraped all of the price comparison engines, everybody in front of your eyes, and then you say, yeah, I'll have that. It then contacts the vendor and says, do you realise 74 people left your site today for a £6 price differential? Why don't you let us email them on your behalf and say you'll give them £6 off? So what they're doing is they're sitting on top of everybody else's research, they're right in your eyeballs, grabbing those sales that you literally have in between your fingernails, and then they contact you and say, give us more money and you'll get those sales back.
What exemplifies it? I think YouTube does it. 10 guys above a Pizza Hut in San Francisco built the business on Linux very cheap, and potentially will sell it for 1.6 billion within less than 12 months.